New Ultimate Red Zone stages incoming. How's it, everybody? Celtic Link here. We're back for another Dokkan battle video. We are currently 2 days away from the start of Global and JP's worldwide celebration. And we got a surprising announcement this evening. In the in-game news on both versions, we were informed of an incoming event, a new Ultimate Raid Zone, specifically against Wicked Bloodline enemies. Now, we don't know too much other than the fact that it's coming, and completion of the event will net you a support memory based on sort of the opening scene, the flashback from the Cooler's Revenge movie. So definitely pretty awesome. I'm excited. I was wondering how they were going to handle Red Zone moving forward. There's no way it was going to just be a one and done thing. So looks like we have a Wicked Bloodline edition. I'm curious if, knowing that we're getting a Wicked Bloodline edition, this opens up the gates to maybe a super class edition to this, like an Ultimate Blue Zone or something. That would be pretty awesome. I mean, I'm hoping it's not just the one stage, and I'm hoping it's not just Cooler and Frieza here. Maybe we'll see like a King Cold stage or like a Chilled stage early on, and we get the harder stages, the Coolers and the Friezas, as we go on. Maybe even a Golden Frieza stage and a Metal Cooler stage. I guess we'll have to see. We don't know much about the stage at the moment. So this is pretty much what's coming. Likely will drop on the start of the celebration at the 25th. We also did get some info on the story event that's upcoming. This is the story event we saw in the V-Jump scans, which can recruit a Kid Gohan, which can be Dokkan awakened into a Goku and Gohan we saw from the V-Jump scan. So pretty awesome. I'm excited. I always like getting new free-to-play cards to test out, so that'll be fun. So, before we close out the video, I did want to show off a few units I think you, the player, can start getting ready to prepare yourself for this Red Zone. Some specific units that have advantages over Wicked Bloodline units. Units I think you should get the super attacks up, awaken, and link level grind if you haven't already. So first up is the obvious, the Super Saiyan Namek Goku from last year's worldwide celebration. This guy gets guaranteed crits when facing Frieza type enemies, so he'll definitely be helpful for those Frieza stages. He also gets extra ki and stuff when facing a extreme class enemy and extra attack, so definitely helpful there. He also can activate his active skill when facing an extreme enemy, and your HP is 30% or less once only. So definitely be useful. He was useful last year in the Frieza stages. He'll probably be useful last year, or this year as well, in the Frieza stage. So I'm sure the event probably takes into account that you'll probably try to use this guy, but still, he'll probably be useful, especially once we realize how good the new Super Saiyan Goku coming out this year is gonna be. There'll probably be some play you can do with those two, even if they're not necessarily linking or on the same rotation together. So let's move on. I have a few others I think would be helpful to show off here. Ooh, what happened here? Okay, excellent. All right, we're back. All right, so other option I think would be good. This LR EZA Trunks. This is the Fizz Trunks that EZA'd early on in the year. Like with the Goku, he gets extra ki and guaranteed crits when fighting Wicked Bloodline type enemies. He also gets extra 50% when attacking extreme class enemies. So I did a showcase on him earlier in the year in the Clash of Epic Battles, and on the 200% team with another good Trunks linked with them, he actually performs pretty well. We saw some pretty interesting numbers from him. Mine was only 69%. He was max links, and he was hitting 6 or 7 million quite easily once fully built up, and tanking hits after the 6 turns. So definitely someone who can be useful against Wicked Bloodline types, especially run with the STR Goku and Gohan. So definitely, if you got this guy, I would get him ready. I'm not guaranteeing he'll be great against this. We'll have to wait and see just how hard this stage is, but I feel like there'll be some play. I think he will be somewhat useful. Up next, we have the AGL Nail. This guy is a godsend whenever facing any type of Frieza type enemies. Now, when he's facing Frieza or Wicked Bloodline type enemies, he has guaranteed additionals and crits. What this means is, since he's a stacking unit, he's going to build his defense quite quickly. And that's extra important, especially when you consider that if he's run with a Piccolo, he's also receiving up to 77% damage reduction depending on how much health you have left. So this guy can be a defensive monster on a rotation with a Piccolo. Now, currently there probably are no good Piccolos that you could run these two together on. Last year's banner unit Piccolo is just awful. The Fizz Piccolo, unless you're running Namekians or worthy rivals, there's really no way to run them together. I'm sorry, Connected Hope. Oh, but the Fizz Piccolo isn't on Connected Hope, so actually, no, there's pretty much Namek Saga or Namekians is the only way to run them together, and I don't think that team necessarily will be able to take on the Red Zone. So my hope is that whatever category this new Goku leads will also include a Piccolo from the movie on it, meaning that we'll probably get another banner unit Piccolo. There's only so much they can pull from the Cooler movie, and he kind of needs a redemption, right? So I'm hoping we get a new Piccolo, and that'll make this guy an awesome addition to help take on this new Red Zone. Up next, we have the Super Saiyan God Goku. He was useful in Movie Boss's Red Zone. Cooler is a movie boss, so he will definitely be helpful for the movie boss stages. We know what this guy does, that damage reduction with the rainbow key spheres, the ceiling. He's just amazing, and he will basically save you an entire turn whenever he's on rotation. Just throw him in the first slot and let him guard for you. So definitely a good unit to have for the Cooler stages. I did want to throw out one sort of honorable mention before I get to my final sort of reveal here, but the Easy A Super Saiyan AGL Goku, this guy Easy A'd last year. He stacks, he's got damage reduction, he gets extra attack when facing extreme class enemies. I feel like depending on how the event is structured, like if it's like the other ones and you can actually keep him on rotation to stack, he will fully built up. I think he'll be alright. I've seen people run him in the Red Zone against Broly fully built up, as long as he's rainbow level 10 lengths. He'll be fine, but we'll have to see. I think he could be a good sort of last minute option to add to your team if you had no one else. So just wanted to throw him out here as sort of an honorable mention before I get to the last unit I think will be extremely useful in these new Red Zone stages, and that is the AGL Bardock. I know a lot of people like to rag on this guy, but hear me out. Okay, this guy gets effective against all types when attacking extreme class enemies, right? So he's got that going for him. When facing a Wicked Bloodline enemy, he can actually transform right away, right? He starts as base form, and he's kind of bad when in base form. He does get effective against all types when facing Wicked Bloodline, and he does buff low-class warriors, but really, you want him for this transformation. He does stack, so you could let him stack for a while, but really, you know, if you're facing Wicked Bloodline, you want him to just jump right into the Super Saiyan, because he is amazing in his Super Saiyan form. Again, like I said, it's attacks against all types. He's getting Key 3, extra crit chance, and reducing damage for 5 turns, which in Red Zone, as we saw against even Broly, that's really all you need for a character like him. He also launches additional attacks and has a high chance to become a super attack, and all attacks are critical hits when facing Wicked Bloodline. So he's effective against all types and has crits and has additionals, plus a little bit of damage reduction. I can see this guy being very useful, especially if the new Goku, whatever he is, gives this guy access to the 200% lead. I'm also thinking, I wasn't originally thinking this when I was first sort of putting together my theories on this celebration, but now that we know that there's a Wicked Bloodline stage coming, this guy could see an Easy A, right? He could be extremely useful if he Easy A'd and all of these buffs came just a little bit better, right? A little more on the attack and defense. The damage reduction for the 5 turns, it just increase it up to like 50%, or hell, even 30% would be extremely useful. We see how powerful the 30% is on the LR Vegito, so I mean, I'll take it. I hadn't considered that as a possibility up until the announcement of these stages, so we might actually see this guy Easy A during this celebration, but we'll have to see. That's sort of just a little speculation on my part. So, anyways, guys, that's sort of my recommendation on some units you can get ready to help you take on this new Ultimate Red Zone when it drops, most likely on the 25th. If you liked the video, make sure you hit that like button and subscribe to the channel if you haven't already. And in the comments down below, let me know, what do you think of the units I recommended? You think they could be good? You think they could be useful? Or you think I'm way off here, that these units just aren't gonna cut it? I'd love to hear your guys' thoughts on the topic. Otherwise, guys, as always, thanks for watching, and aloha.